Good day, class. Now we'll be having a game entitled Fact or Bluff. Let's play Celebrity Bluff. So here's the mechanics. Say fact if the statement is correct and say bluff if it is incorrect. Again, say fact if the statement is correct and say bluff if it is incorrect. So are we clear on that? So, I will be the one to choose someone to answer and then you'll explain why. So, the statements is all about figures of speech, which is our topic for today. So, do you have any idea what is figures of speech? Okay, very good. Since you already have knowledge about the topic, this activity will serve as a recap and to measure your understanding about figures of speech. So, are you ready? So now let's start playing Celebrity Bluff. First statement. Personification is when you make strong exaggeration. Again, personification is when you make strong exaggeration. Is it a fact or a bluff? Okay, very good. It is bluff because when we say personification, it is something. It is when something is described as if it is a person or it's giving human attributes. So for example, the sun smiled upon the field of gold. So the word smile is a human attribute, which is the applied siya sa sun. And then the second example is the leaves dance on the wind. So the word dance was a human attribute. So personification is like giving human attributes to non-human things. So are we clear? Second statement. She is as light as a feather is an example of simile. She is as light as a feather is an example of simile. Is it a fact or a bluff? Okay, very good. It is fact because when we say simile, it is when you compare two different things with the use of the word like or as. So for example, you are as brave as a lion. So you are being compared to a lion with the use of the word as. The next example, he ran as fast as lightning. So the man was being compared to the lightning with the use of the word as. So are we clear? Okay, very good. So now let's proceed. The third statement is the trees dance on the wind is an example of personification. The trees dance on the wind is an example of personification. Is it a fact or a bluff? Okay, very good. It is fact because as what we've discussed earlier, personification is giving human attributes to non-human things. So just like the example. So are we good? Okay, very good. So now let's proceed. The fourth statement goes like this. The exam was just a piece of cake is an example of metaphor. The exam was just a piece of cake is an example of metaphor. Is it a fact or a bluff? Okay, very good. It is fact because when we say metaphor, it is when you describe something by saying it is something else. So for example, she is an angel. Next one, life is a roller coaster. So do you have any questions or clarifications? Okay, very good. So now then, let's proceed to the last statement. You are an open book is an example of hyperbole. You are an open book is an example of hyperbole. Is it a fact or a bluff? Okay, very good. It is bluff because when we say hyperbole, it is also known as exaggeration, or it is when an unrealistic comparison is made for effect. For example, I am freezing. Another one, dying of laughter. So those sentences were exaggerated, right? That's why it's an example of hyperbole. So could you give me another example of hyperbole? Okay, very good. That really shows that you really understand our topic for today. So did you enjoy our activity? Okay, very good. Do you have any clarifications? Okay, now let's proceed into our group activity. I will be dividing the class into four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kindly go to your respective groups. So the instructions will be projected into the screen, and I am requesting everyone to kindly read the instructions carefully. So I will be giving you these strips of paper, and it contains a paragraph, and then you need to choose one representative in your group that could give the figures of speech that could be found in your paper. So understood? I will give you 2 minutes to do your brainstorming. Group 1 representative, can you please read aloud the first paragraph? Okay, very good. Thank you, Group 1 representative. So, in the first paragraph, we could found simile, metaphor, hyperbole, and personification. So, I wish I was as fast as my brother Donnie is an example of what? Very good. It is an example of simile. He ran as fast as a cheetah in the basketball court is an example of metaphor. He is so excited he is about to explode is an example of hyperbole. And then the basketball court seems to be calling his name is an example of what? Very good. It is an example of personification because you are giving human attributes to the basketball court, which is calling his name. Okay, thank you, Group 1. And now let's proceed to Group 2. Group 2 representative, can you please read aloud the second paragraph and then give us the figures of speech that could be found in the paragraph? Okay, very good. Second paragraph, we could find metaphor, hyperbole, and simile. Donnie is a protected mother cub is an example of metaphor. Donnie kills me with his athleticism is an example of hyperbole. The energy level in the room is like a power plant is an example of simile because of the word what? Very good, because of the word like. Thank you, Group 2. And now Group 3 representative, can you please read the third paragraph? Okay, very good. The figures of speech that can be found in the third paragraph is simile. The crowd became as quiet as a sleeping baby. It is an example of simile because as quiet as a sleeping baby. Thank you, Group 3. And now let's proceed to Group 4. So Group 4 representative, can you please read the fourth paragraph? Okay, very good. So the figures of speech that could be found in the fourth paragraph are hyperbole, simile, and metaphor. The crowd explodes as overtime plays begin. It is an example of what? Very good. It is an example of hyperbole. Donnie searches the court like a hungry lion looking for food. It is an example of simile because of the word like. His basketball skills are out of this world. It is an example of hyperbole because it is exaggerated. The crowd is a roaring ocean. It is an example of metaphor. So we are done with our activity, and it really shows that you really understand our topic for today. Thank you, class. Goodbye and see you next meeting.